So the first thing I like doing is, as always, go and grab an image here so I can model from it. So I'm just going to right click and save as. And I've already saved all of this in here, but I'm going to create another folder and just call it example. Start it fresh again here. Put it in there. And so the first thing I'm going to have to do is go and find that font. And as always, I head on over to Dafont, DAFONT.com. So I'm just over at Dafont here. And it actually took me a while to find that font, and it is in here. Most of the fonts you see on Teespring are from this site anyways. That's what I've noticed. This is my favorite site. Now I'm going to try and find it again. I believe it was in calligraphy under script. And I usually like taking a word from the shirt, like fishing, and I'll keep the shirt kind of beside me here so I can keep an eye on what I'm looking for in the font. So I'll type the word fishing here, and I'll do 100 fonts. Then I can have this one sort of beside me so I can see it. Trying to fit it all on the page here. And obviously you don't have to go exactly with it. You can find, if you find something else cool, like this one right here doesn't look bad either. Pretty nice. And that's it right there. I can tell right away. When you're looking for similar fonts, try to find distinct characteristics in a specific character. Like look at the letter F, how it swoops right around, comes back in. Like you could see that swoop. This looks like a little bit different, but I think if you click on this here, you got a variation, and it's this one down here, the wolf one. You see the swoop is more consistent with the swoop here, and of course the G is so distinct, like comes back on itself there. That was really easy to spot. But usually what I do is I look at this font, and I see that the F and the G are really distinct. So what I'll do is, instead of writing out the whole word, I'll just put the F and the G there, F and G, because those are the only real characters I need to look at. And I can see right away when I get to it, like boom, it just gets you right in the face. You can see it there, right? It's always good to go look at more. That's when you're looking for the exact font. Of course, when you're looking for other variations, you don't have to do it just with 2 letters. Just put the whole word in there and just keep looking. See if you can find something really cool. Like that doesn't look that bad. It's kind of neat. I guess this font is going to be, it's focused towards a woman wearing it, right? The pink on it and whatnot. And you know, this girl loves fishing with her husband. So obviously it's a female shirt. So you want to be looking at more of a sort of a female type of font, I guess. You know, something like that might be nice. I find when it's too all fancy and like that, it's kind of hard to read on the shirt. So you gotta make sure it's sort of bold a little bit. Like that's way too thin. You won't be able to see anything. You don't want it too scratchy and too funky either, right? Like that. Nothing else is really popping out at me. But that's basically what I do when I'm looking for the font. So I've already got the font downloaded, but let me go back and download it again just so... Where was it again? There it is. So you click on that. Actually, no, I went to the download button. There we go. Download that, and we'll just download it in my folder. I've already got it downloaded, Wolf in the City. So I won't do it again, but if we go to my folder there, that's not it. Here they are. These are all the Wolf in the City ones. Again, to extract stuff from a zip file, just right click, extract all. Click extract all, and I'll make a folder for it. And it's in here, and I just installed all of them. Just right click, install. I've already got it installed, all of them. So just right click and install them. Then when it's done, you got to restart your Photoshop. But let's go ahead and get into that design now. Let's see here. Let's go and open up my Photoshop. There it is. This is my other my other design there that I did. So I'm going to show you how I did this. So let's just put that off to the side and create a new file. Let's go 1000 by 800 because it's more of a landscape kind of style. It's definitely too big, so get that magnifying glass, hold down the Alt key on your keyboard and left click to zoom out. And I want to put a nice dark background there, so I'm going to use one of these colors here. I'm just going to click the foreground color and I'm just going to go to like a gray somewhere here. And then I'm going to select the background layer here in the layers palette, and I'm going to go Control backspace, whoops, Alt backspace. We'll do the foreground color you see here. That's Alt backspace. If you do Control backspace, it does the other one, the background name or background color palette here. Okay, I'm going to save that, and we'll go ahead and save it in our new folder there. Fishing example, and as always I just call it design 1. Nothing too fancy. Now let's get the writing on there. So click the text tool, start typing this girl. I'm not seeing it because it automatically just takes the foreground color that you see here, and it's the same color as the background, so I'm just gonna select it there and change the color to white. Hit the text tool. If you don't see the character tool, go down the window, character, make sure that's checked. Hit the color, let's go to white. Okay. Now I need to change that text. Go to the character thing again and go and find that wolf. Go down to W. Where is it? Wolf City. I don't know which one it is, but let's see if it's this one. Now it doesn't look perfectly smooth because the image is being reduced here. Like if we zoom in to actual pixels, you see it's nice and clean, but it looks like the spacing is set that to 0. I'm not sure if that's the right font. Let me see. This one is the Wolf in the City Light. Okay, so that one wasn't the light. That was the Wolf in the City OT1. I'm going to go down to light. Yeah, that was the one. That's the font that they were using in that image. So I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit. So I'll lose a bit of quality of that text, but that's fine. So this girl was like that. And so to resize, you want to select left click the corner box there and just hold down the shift key and resize. As soon as you let go of that shift key, you'll start doing weird stuff like that. So keep that shift key pressed while you're resizing. Hit the enter key when you're happy with the size of it. And so I want to do this girl loves fishing with her father. Let's try father instead of dad. I don't know, something different. So one thing I want to do is I want to give it a bit of an angle. And you're probably wondering, well, how can I get the angle right? You know, I can actually match the angle exactly the same. I'll show you a little trick here. Remember we saved the image of that shirt. So I have it open here. I'm just going to grab that shirt and drop it in here like this. I'm just going to go actual pixels so we can see it better. And I'll just make sure I put this shirt below my text there. And I'll grab my text and I'll just bring it there and I'll just you know, zoom it down so it's pretty close. And then I'll go, when you go to the corner there, you can see that icon, the little cursor, mouse cursor changed to like a circular thing. And that means you can start to rotate it. Then I just make it look about similar as the other text here. Just make sure it kind of lines up. Then when you're done with that, that looks about good. So let's just delete that and make all my text at that same angle. I think I want to do a little bit less. So let's say like that. Good enough. So this girl, then you can go loves. And if you need to get the color, you can get the color from here. So just I'll save the color in the background here. Just click there and then click in the pink, and I got the color now. And then here I just grab this text and go over to the character thing and hit the color box and grab that. And there we go. So this girl loves, and then text tool, and go in here and go fishing. If you're, I think I didn't mention how I actually duplicate these objects. You can select the object and then hold down the Control and Alt key on your keyboard, and then left click and drag, and that will give you a copy of that text. So the next one here is with her. That one's really small. Something like that. I got it snapping all over. You can see it's kind of snapping to the text. That's a bit annoying in this case, so I'm going to remove the snapping feature. I don't know if you could see in the video, but there's a whole bunch of bounding boxes being like put there. I don't know what's going on with Photoshop, but sometimes it does that. Just ignore it, I guess, for now. And then I need to do, let's say, I'll just stick to what I did before, dad. And then we just need to line it up a little bit better. So this was a little smaller. It was something like, I think I had it like that. Kind of see how that L fits in there nicely. You just kind of play with it till you get a good fit. I think this should be a little smaller. Something like that, and then maybe this one was pretty big. Yeah, I think it was about like that actually, and I made the with her a lot smaller. And then that's way too small, so I'm gonna grab the whole thing, grab a corner, and just boom, make it a lot bigger. Now what I need is I need to go get that fish in a hook that's shaped like a heart. That's what I put in there. Obviously you don't have to put both those in there. I just thought it was kind of cool. It's a little different than what they did. They had a fishing rod in there. You can obviously do a fishing rod as well. I actually did a variation of that design with a fishing rod. I can show you that right now. Open. This is the other one here. My husband is my trophy catch. I do have a fishing rod kind of up top there I found in Google. So let's go ahead and get the fish and put it into our design, and get that little hook and put it in our design. As always, I'll head over to Google, and I'll just type in fish. I don't remember actually how I found it, so we'll just have to. How about fish silhouette? Looks like there's a ton here. I really don't remember. Oh, that's a nice one right there. We could use that one. Oh, there it is. That's the one. Now, I do not know if this is copyrighted or not, so it may be risky using this image in the design, but I've done it many times and haven't gotten in trouble. Oh, a few times I have with certain things like a Superman symbol, but this is different. But of course, if you want to be safe, then you can obviously go buy one, and I'll show you that in a second. I'm just going to download this first, save as. Okay, it's an example. Save here. A few other ones here. Now, some places where I love to buy graphics is at graphicriver.net. put fish in here. And this is where I love it. There's one right here for $3, you know. There's a fishing rod and a bunch of stuff I could put in there. Whole bunch of fish here, silhouettes. Different ones here. So there's one place I like getting my images from. Sometimes when you want to get icons for free, you can go iconfinder.com. Let me type fish in here. And type free. We can get a bunch of stuff in here we could use possibly. You also do licensing. So these ones mean you can take them and don't even have to link back to them at all. That's not a place I like going to. Let's see if I can find a few more handy places here. I actually have a handy little folder here with a bunch of bookmarks. This place is cool. Rival Art. I've used some stuff from here. This is awesome. Love this site. This is really good for sports, especially. Tons of sports stuff in here. Is there fishing? Let's see if there's fishing in here. I don't see any. I'm going to Control F and just see in the bottom there. I'm going to try and find the word fish in the page. Fish. I don't see it. Oh, there we go. Fishing clip art right here. Let's take a look at that. And we get a ton of cool stuff that we can buy here and use on our shirts. Lots of clip art. They even give you example shirts too. You just go to fill in the blanks. Show all. So yeah, this is another place I go to look for some real cool images sticking there. Like this one might be cool to use. You'll get addicted to this site, trust me. I've been here for hours and hours on end. I love looking at all this. Tons of stuff in here, like every mascot you can think of. Well, not everyone, but lots. Bear, angel, buffalo, bull, cowboy, all sorts of stuff. Let's see what other goodies I got in my little folder here. This is cool. I've used this for sports logos to make sure I don't copy official sports logos, because in here you can actually come in here and see all of the logos for a given team. So let's go to hockey. No, let's go to football. Football, American football. I guess you want to, let's look at American football. I want to see a football team. Alright, I had to use our search thing here. And there we go. For example, so for Broncos, when I was doing a lot of designs, in here it shows you all the primary logos from the different years, and then the alternate logos, like this one here. So when you're having this funny looking donkey one there too, when you're designing your shirts and you come across a bunch of different logos in Google and you don't know which one are actually the official logos from, like, you know, way back in the 60s or something like that, well, you come to this page, this site, and you can easily find all the copyrighted logos. So you basically just don't use these ones. So this is a really good site to avoid getting in trouble. But it's also a nice place to see the colors of their teams. Like, what are the current colors? What are the colors they had in the past? Say you want to do a vintage shirt with vintage colors of the Broncos or something like that. Could be an idea. It's a good site to go to. See if there's any cool stuff in here. I'm not kind of wasting time here with this design tutorial, but custom design logos, I haven't used them. A lot of these I just save them when I see them right away. Draw freely. What's this? Oh, this is a like a Photoshop kind of alternative called Inkscape. I don't know how to use it, but it looks cool. If you don't got Photoshop, that's probably cool. Oh, Sunfrog shirts. Yeah, it's a good place to look. Let me just see here. Oh, this is a tool for removing, cropping out images. It's pretty handy if you don't want to use Photoshop. I'm not seeing any other cool stuff there. Vectease. What's this? Vecteezy. Oh, a bunch of vector images. Okay, yeah, this is a good site too. So in here you can find a bunch of really cool vector art. Let's see if you can find something to do with fishing in here. Oops. It's a very sneaky banner there. Fishing. Lots. Cool. Alright, that's cool. I'm going to stop wasting your time there. Let's go back over here, and I need to get that fish hook. So fish hook heart. This is the one I used right here. The purple one, and I just made it all one color. So let's just right click and save as. And we'll save that. Whoops. Right click and save as SVG file. I don't even know what that is. What? Web file? Okay, that's weird. Not sure why I did that. Here, let's try something. I'm gonna select this URL, right click, copy. I'm gonna bring up Chrome, right click and paste, hit enter key, and let's see if I can right click, save image as. What is an SVG file? I do not know. If I just change it to PNG, let's just see if that works. Nope, that did not work. I'm not sure what an SVG file is. I've seen it before, but that is definitely the logo that I got. Alright, I'll do it the old-fashioned way. Print screen on my keyboard. Just hit that button. It's located to the right hand side of your F buttons, like F9, F10, F11, F12. So beside F12 you should see a print screen button. Print screen, and I'm going to go in the Photoshop. I'm going to create a new image. You can see right away the Photoshop detected that I print screen. That's why I made this huge image, and I'm going to go edit, paste, and I'm going to crop around here, and I need to get that hook out of there, so let's do that right now. So I'm going to zoom in, actual pixels, and so all I'll do here is I'll just grab this. It's not going to work there. It's going to be a little trickier than I thought. Okay, undo. There is a way to get it out of there, and I'll show it to you. It's a little bit more time consuming, but it really isn't that hard. I don't know what version of CX or of Photoshop that allows you to do this, but right here you can see this magic lasso tool. I use that all the time. And what's cool about it is if you just go near an edge, it will automatically just go right to the edge. So I'll just quickly go around, and you can click, and say you mess up and do something like that, just hit the delete key and it starts deleting the points. You can get back to where you were. And I like clicking, adding a little spot on the edges so it gets it nice and gets everything there. But usually I'll just follow it for you. So you can see I'm going really fast. I'm not actually clicking or anything. It just kind of magically attaches itself to the edge. That's the beauty of this tool. So I'll just quickly go around the whole thing here. Okay, I'll go Control C and Control V on my keyboard, but make sure you select that layer. Control C, Control V. And then this other layer, I'm just going to So you see I still have this part in the middle, so I got to do the same thing in the middle there real quick and just delete that. Now it seems like a whole lot of effort for this particular one. I'm sure I could find a better one, but I like showing little tricks with Photoshop. I'm actually fully self-taught Photoshop by just watching videos on YouTube and doing tutorials I find in Google. Alright, so let's delete that. Oh, gotta select the right layer. Delete. And Control D to deselect. There we go. Now all I did was you just take that layer and you double click it. Actually, sorry, before I do that, I do want to select those little white spots and delete them. So delete that white spot, select and delete. Control D to deselect. Now just take this hook and we're going to put it in our image. So I'll just drag it in here. Okay, and let's clean that up a bit. So the first thing I want to do is double click the layer and go color overlay and just make it white. And then I can right click, convert to smart object so I can resize it. Honestly, it looks really jagged to me there. I'm not sure why. I may have done this before too, I just don't remember, but I don't like the jagged edges of things. It makes your image look so unprofessional. So let's try and find another hook here. Well, you could probably use this one right here, right off the bat, the first one there. There's actually one in the white background as well. Right click and save that one. That's one I could possibly use. Let's see if we can find something else here. There's one here. That looks like the same one we just downloaded. So I really like that other one because it's sort of like, you know, like kind of off to the side and not perfectly symmetrical. It just looked cool because it looks like kind of like the text does. You know, the text is kind of like fancy and slanting. So is that heart-shaped thing. That's probably good enough, you know. Let me see. I'm gonna go look at my old design there when I did it before. It looks like I did find a larger image of that. Let me show you a trick here. I don't know why that won't download. That just irritates me. Save as. This is really interesting. An SVG is a scalable vector graphics. It's a file that contains the extension in a two-dimensional graphics. So basically what it is, it's like HTML, but it's XML markup language. So it's actually like a web page, but it's all text-based. Interesting. I think I have heard of it before, but I just forgot about it. So that's what it is. How to convert it is, I'm not sure. But we can always just look for another one, right? Or another idea, check this out. You can take this image and it's going to drag it right back up into Google. And Google is going to go and find if it's anywhere else on the internet. And it didn't find it. Oh, did it find it? It's in a whole bunch of places here. Let's take a look here. Oh, no. How about here? There it is. Right click, save as. Ha, we got it. All right. So now let's open that up. That's much better. There we go. Now I'm going to delete that other one I did. And I still want to delete out those little white spots. Delete, delete, deselect. I'll take that and I'm going to go to the layer and double click it and overlay that to white. And right click, convert to smart object, and now I can fit that in the way that I had it before. I think I just did it something like that. There we go. Last thing I want to do is add that fish. So let's open up the fish that we got there. And I'm just going to drop the... Well, the first thing we've got to do is got to get rid of the white. The easiest way to get rid of that white area is to use the select tool up here. So I'm going to, in this image, I'm going to duplicate that layer. So I'm going to it's not letting me. It's a GIF image. Okay, when you have a GIF, GIF, go to Image, Mode, and go to RGB Color. Now right-click the layer and duplicate. Select Duplicate Layer. And I'll just take this top layer here, and I'm going to go Select Color Range. Select all the white. So just put your little, make sure the sampled colors is selected here, and just use a little eyedropper and go to the white area. Click OK, and now hit the delete key and delete out all the white. Control D to deselect, and I'm just going to delete out this little bug here. So I'm just going to use the eraser tool. You just got to make sure that this layer is selected and delete out that little bug. All right, I can double click this, color overlay, change it to white. And now let's drop this into our image, into our, there we go. And right click that and convert to smart object. So there we go. Now we can start to play around with our image here. So select all this and move it over a bit. I can see a bunch of stuff up here that I didn't erase. So I need to erase that. And unfortunately I already converted it to a smart object. So I gotta go right click and convert it and rasterize it again so I can delete. And I'm gonna use the selection rectangle and make sure I delete all that stuff out of there. Now I want to show you a trick here. Sometimes you won't even know that little things like that exist. I don't even know if you can see that on the video, but little tiny specks in there that you kind of miss. One way to spot if there's any specks kind of missing and you want to fix that, I need to get this smaller so I can, whoops, wrong way. Here we go. One way to see if there's specks is to add a stroke around your image. So grab this image here, and I'm going to do a stroke around it. Double click in the layers to bring up the layer style window, and then do a stroke and give it like a funny color. So you see there's some dots around here, and click OK. See that dot out here, and there's a dot there's a dot there. I don't want those dots. So let's get rid of them. I'm just going to zoom in and delete them. So just zoom in here, grab the eraser tool, and just go until they go away. That's my secret tip for finding dots that are not supposed to be there. There we go. And we'll zoom back out. Get the zoom tool, hold down the Alt key, left click to zoom out. And let's go and remove that stroke there. And I do want to rasterize that layer again because I had to delete. So basically this is all I did. I don't even have to reshape it or anything. I just stuck it there. Like if you look at my other one here, I have to zoom back out. That's all I did. I just kind of stuck it right there. So if you look at mine and the new one here, but I noticed my fish is really jagged around the edges, and I do not like that. Now there's a way of getting rid of this jagged edge, but you actually need to use Illustrator or find a bigger image. Let me see how big. It looks very similar to the one that we just downloaded. I'm just looking at the difference between the one we downloaded. I see. The one we downloaded was a GIF. This one that I downloaded before was a PNG. So the GIF had some problems with the ugly outer area. to make this smooth, you actually have to use Illustrator, and it's a little more complex, but I might as well show you how to do it. If you've got Photoshop, you might have Illustrator as well. So let me just quickly do it. So I'll make a new image, and I'll make it really big, like 1,000 by 1,000. Let's drop that fish in there. I'm going to change the color of the fish, double clicking the layer. Whoops, that's not right there. Double click the layer, and I'm going to change it to black. And now what you do is it's a smart object already. Make this really big, and it's going to look crappy. That's okay. We're going to fix it in Illustrator. So now when you zoom in, it looks kind of really jagged and ugly around the edges. So I'm going to remove the background. I'm going to save this as a PNG. File save as a PNG. And let's just call it my fish. Okay, now I'm going to open up Illustrator. So if you don't have Illustrator, I'm just going in my computer here, Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator. So when I bought Photoshop, I kind of bought the whole graphics package, so it came with a bunch of different ones. Honestly, I really have no idea how to use Illustrator. I know how to use like one function, and that one function you're going to see is right now. I am no expert at this software, but I'm sure there's more than enough tutorials all over YouTube and the internet to help you with it. But I'm going to show you what I do. So I'm going to file, open that. Okay. I just got to find it here. Give me a second. So my fish. So I'm going to open this. And it should be really massive, as you can see here. Let me just make it bigger here. Then all you do is up here you see image trace. Just click that button, and it smooths out all the edges. That's it. Now I go File, Export, but I export it as a PSD, a Photoshop file. Right here, Photoshop file, PSD. Save, click OK, and just close that. Don't want to save it. Now open up Photoshop, and let's close that one. Close that one. Just want to get things closed here. And now what you want to do is open up that new PSD file, my fish, and you have a massive fish. Like, this is actually shrunk down 33%. So if you want to see how big this fish is, let me just show you. This is called vector, I think vectorizing the image or something like that. Oh. That's the actual size. You can just see the fins taking up my whole computer screen. So it's big. So let's hold down the Alt key and zoom out here. We got a big massive fish. And so basically I just use that one and shrink it down, and it'll be nice and smooth in my image. So let's do that. So I'm just going to grab in here and work with this image right in here, and let's do the same thing we did before. Select color range, click the white, delete, deselect, and I'm just going to make a copy of this, duplicate layer. I'm going to make it smaller, but first I got to rasterize the layer there. Right click, rasterize, and I'm going to shrink it down a bit because it's really, really big. It's still going to be super massive in our picture, so let's just drag it on over. Still huge. We got to shrink that sucker down. Hold down the Shift and Alt key to shrink it down quickly. And the Shift key there, and we'll just get it to about the same size or so, maybe a little bit bigger, so we can just play with it. And take that one and delete it. There we go. I think it was something like that. And so all I got to do is color that to white. So double click on the layer, color overlay, and make it white. basically that's it. That's how I did it. That's the image. It's not really that difficult. I'm sorry for this video going on and on and on, but as you can see, I really get excited about showing new stuff and things that you may not know about Photoshop, or cool websites you can use to find neat graphics. So I'm just gonna crop this out, save it. I'm going to zoom out a bit here, make it smaller so we can see it. Then I'm just going to go to layers and just make the back layer not visible. File, save as PNG. Let's go into our Teespring, launch new campaign, select the black or dark blue shirt. Maybe the navy one would look nice. And we go to our fishing folder, example. Here we are. There's our cool looking fish with only 2 colors, and there we go. Cool design. Let's go ahead and preview it. And again, just go ahead and we'll just save it for our ads that we're going to create. Create it in there, but it's also, I want to go back there and make sure I add some more shirt styles for the image. I'll probably do a, recommend doing a women's tee, and since it's summertime coming up, or spring, I guess summer's next, add a tank top, go back to preview, now let's get the other images, save image, get the tank top, cool, and that's how you design the fishing one. And of course I just simply adapted it for the other design there. Pretty simple. It's the same fish hook, the same fish, and I just changed the words to "my husband is my trophy catch," and I added a fishing rod, and I did it all very similar to all the tips I show you in this video, so it's not really worth me showing this again because I'm using almost the same graphics. But you can see how you can take the same graphic and you can manipulate it really simple, really easily into a whole bunch of different variations and try a whole bunch of different shirts all at once in one campaign. So it's a really cool idea. So anyhow, that's it for this video.